Sam Baker, album, Samiyam. Hello, my needle drops. Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. And it's album review time. This LP's title is Sam Baker's Album. It's the sophomore release from LA beatmeister Samiyam, the follow-up to a CDR album, Rap Beats Volume 1, on Brainfeeder Records. And Brainfeeder, if you haven't heard of it yet, is a record label started by Flying Lotus, Los Angeles Flying Lotus, Cosmogramma Flying Lotus, Adult Swim Bumps Flying Lotus. And Flying Lotus and Samiyam have collaborated together under the name Fly-Am Sam, and they might be coming out with an album later this year, collaborative album, Precious Cargo. But honestly, I'm not sure if I'm going to be looking forward to that album. I'm actually not sure if I'm going to be looking forward to anything Brainfeeder puts out in the future from here on out. But the thing is, when Brainfeeder first came out, I was really thrilled. I was really excited. One of my favorite musicians was going to be releasing music from what I assumed were going to be like-minded artists who I didn't know about, shed some light on. Some people who would push beat music to new heights of creativity and sound. Nearly everything that's come out on this label so far has kind of underwhelmed me. A few artists have come really close to wowing me, and I'm keeping an ear on them, of course, like Gaslamp Killer and Monopoly, whose new EP was pretty awesome. But so far, the albums that have been put out on Brainfeeder have kind of fallen into two categories for me. And that is, they're either so odd and formless that I can't really attach anything to them emotionally, or they're so straightforward, plain, and simple that they're just kind of in one ear and out the other. They're just not memorable to me. And sadly for me, Sam Baker's album falls into that category. There are 17 instrumentals on here, but a vast majority of them are just kind of nondescript to me. No matter how many times I listen to this, I can't retain much of it. But it's not for lack of good production, though. The drums are really heavy, the beats are pronounced, the bass lines are very husky, very chubby and thick. What samples I do hear are chopped up pretty well. The highs are nice, and the entire package is mixed so clearly. It's a little saturated, but it sounds fine. And this thing is definitely not a one-trick pony in terms of different sounds and styles. I love the sweet Parliament funkadelic influence coming out of those synthesizers on frosting packets. I love those schmaltzy electric piano chords on the song Turtles, or that rattling percussion on Understanding. It's how these songs are built, just assembled, that kind of ends up boring me. Pretty much all of these tracks move past a short introduction, and then they run in circles for a little bit with one idea, and then they just end up with a predictable fade out. Each of these tracks sound best when they've reached their peak, which isn't even really that high. It's kind of more like a hill. And maybe that's because of a lack of development or something. So many tracks here just, instead of evolving, instead of changing, instead of adapting, they kind of peace out. And even when a track on here sounds pretty nice, that leaves me with a really kind of empty, hollow, unsatisfied feeling. I kind of feel like I grabbed $10 and instead of going to get some dinner or something, I went down to my local drugstore and bought one of those, $10 boxes of chocolates, various assortment, and then I just pigged out on that. And then, of course, afterwards I felt tired and crappy and unfulfilled. I mean, this album does have a consistent mood and style, though. Maybe it would appeal more to beat producers and people who are looking for something to kind of soundtrack their day, maybe. So I will say, if you were into that Teebs album that came out on Brainfeeder, and maybe you're looking for something that is slightly more upbeat, alive, then I think you should try to get with this. If you're an electronic music enthusiast, a hip-hop instrumental enthusiast who's looking for a set of gentle giants, because these tracks, while they are subdued, they're very heavy, they've got a lot of weight to them. I'm kind of feeling a light 5 on this album because it underwhelmed me so much. I'm just on the fence with it. But what do you think of this LP? Are you loving it? Are you hating it? Why? What do you think the best context is for this? If you're enjoying this album, how do you like listening to it? And what should I review next?
Hey, review the new Little B next. Gay.
Forever.